Hey girl, yeah, we can call off the protest. They renewed Abbott. Yep, they announced it. All right, I see you at brunch. ABC, you better have renewed Abbott. What's up, YouTube? It's your girl, Crystal Delahue, and I am back to review the finale of our favorite new sitcom, Abbott Elementary. I'm so happy. It got renewed. They announced it a few weeks ago. I'm so happy for Quinta, Cheryl, and the rest of the cast, Tyler, Janelle, like everybody is just so great on that show. That's the least they could have done. They should have announced it earlier, but we won't be picky. I'm just glad they announced it. So congratulations to y'all. I can't wait to see what y'all bring in season 2. So this video is for all the people that haven't caught up yet. So I'm just gonna break down the second half of the season. So it's just 4 episodes I'm gonna discuss because I've already done a mid-season review and you can go check that out if you want. So after the break, they picked up in late March, I believe, with open house. So we all know, we were all students before, so we know what open house is, right? A lot of times for students, it's a time you sweat because your parents are meeting your teacher for the first time. But from teachers, I never realized that they go through some anxiety as well because they're meeting parents for the first time. If they have a troubled student, you don't know how their parent is going to be, if they're going to be supportive, if they're going to be on your side. You know, it can be very stressful. So I'm glad that they did this episode because I never thought about it from the teacher's perspective, only the student's perspective. So in this episode, we see Janine. She wants to impress her parents that are coming to her open house. The open house is from 5 to 8, and everyone else is real chill. Barbara and Melissa, they've been there a while, so they know the parents don't even show up. So they're like, we chilling. But Janine is really, she's got her cookies out that she got from Meyer or, you know, the deli, whatever store. And she really just wants to make a good impression. So one of her students is having some trouble. So she invited this specific parent to come. And she's just, the whole day is about impressing this parent and just explaining what's going on and how they can be a team to help the student do better in her class. So that's the one plot. Second plot is Gregory finds out that how Ava got the principal's job. We all knew because Ava explained it, but Gregory wasn't in the room when it happened. So we all know that Ava blackmailed the superintendent. He was cheating on his wife. So that's how she got the job. Gregory went out for the job before he became a sub at the school. So he's very hurt. He's like, this woman is unqualified. I have all this education. I came in, I did a whole presentation and you're gonna choose her, but now he knows it was through blackmail. So now he's feeling like a failure. So he's like, you know what? I'm too uptight. I'm gonna start chilling. I'm gonna call me Greg. I'm gonna just start untying my tie. I'm gonna just be not so put together. I'm gonna start slouching in my chair, you know, because he has perfect posture. So I get it. When you find out that someone isn't qualified as you it hurts your feelings. Now, I'm not gonna go as far as Gregory did and be like, oh, you can just call me Greg or whatever, but it does hurt your feelings. So I understand that. But later on, Mr. Johnson tells him in a later episode that I'll discuss, you got to get over it. It's all right. Your time will come, right? Your time will come. Also, I like this little work daughter subplot that came up between Janine and Barbara. Barbara's daughter, we meet her for the first time. She comes in and Barbara's not too fond of what her daughter does for a living. I believe she's like not a bartender, but she deals with liquor and all that type of stuff. She goes around the world tasting liquors or selling liquors and things like that to different areas. So of course, Barbara's a woman of God, so she doesn't deal with any type of the devil's juice. So she doesn't like that. So there's some little friction, and Janine kind of picks up on that, and she calls her Barbara's work daughter to Barbara's own daughter to her face, and it's kind of awkward. I'm like, oh, you want to connect so bad. But then we find out later in the episode it's because Janine's mom, they have their own strained relationship. She's been texting her mom, probably trying to tell her about her first open house, and she's just not responding. So Janine is just looking for them that motherly figure in her life, and she wants Barbara to be it. So anyway, we fast forward to the end of the episode, and Janine's parent is not showing, and Janine's very hurt. She's upset, but the mother works. She's a nurse at a hospital. She's a single parent, but she ends up showing up, and she ends up telling Janine what's going on. But they end up agreeing that they're both going to work on this child's life so she'll succeed. Meanwhile, Ava has been playing music during the open house. Not good, like Mary J. Blige music, like just not appropriate for a school, because she finds out that the superintendent will be coming soon. And he is definitely going to be making some cuts, because now she cannot blackmail him anymore, because guess what? The superintendent married the side chick. Can you believe it? The side chick won, y'all. That never happens, right? So, and the superintendent is played by William from Girlfriends. We love him, Reggie Hayes, right? So he's like, yeah, you can't blackmail me no more, Abe, because I married the side chick. But your job that you have not been doing for the last few years is in jeopardy. So she's like, oh no. So at the end, she plays I'm Going Down by Mary J. Blige. And Mr. Johnson's like, oh God, who is this woman? The next episode is my favorite, probably, other than I think it's because I just love this child actor that plays Courtney. So desking. Desking is this very dangerous challenge that's on TikTok. We all know what TikTok is. These kids are jumping from desk to desk in their sneakers, and they're doing it behind their teacher's back. So it's very dangerous, but it's just dumb to do, because you can fall, crack your head, and then like, who's going to tell your parents? The teachers, right? So this phenomenon has been going on in the school, and they're all trying to figure out who is desking, because they don't know. They just see the sneakers. So we meet Jacob's boyfriend, who is Zach, who Ava didn't realize, like, he comes in and she's like, black? Like, he's a black guy. Like, nobody ever expected Jacob to be dating a black guy, right? So, but he's like, no, actually it's Zach. It's just a brilliant, it's probably my most well-written episode. It is my favorite because it's just funny. The comedic lines are just hilarious. So Ava's like, black? It's like, no, Zach. So he was there. He's a sneakerhead that Jacob explained. So he's there to figure out what shoes, who are these prints and things like that. So at the time, Barbara's room has been the only room that has not been desk. Oh, but when it happened, she storms into the teacher's lounge. She's like, Jesus, baby Jesus, and the grown one too. My desk have been desk. And that line will get her an Emmy. Mark it down. I said it here. All of y'all can try to get on my jock after. I'm right, you're wrong. And there's nothing you can do about it. She's going to get an Emmy, and it's because of that line. But so they're just trying to figure out ways to stop this awful challenge, right? Awful and dangerous. So Janine tries to do it. She's like, well, maybe if the teachers do it and we post it, then it won't be popular. True, because nothing that teachers ever do is cool, right? So she tries to do it. Sis ends up breaking her ankle. Hand-eye coordination is not popping. So Jacob does it, and he does it well, right? So at the end, he's like, desk challenge this. Now, this whole time, I tweeted in real time, Courtney is responsible for this. And guess what, y'all? She was. So at the end, they end up viewing the desking challenge on TikTok, and Courtney's sitting there like, desking is dead because Jacob just made it not cool. In the meantime, this is the episode where Mr. Johnson gives Gregory some sound advice in the closet. Like, you got to get over your anger for Ava. Like, all good things will happen to you in due time. Mr. Johnson is very wise for his for his years, but that's, most janitors are, because they've seen a lot and gone through a lot. So he's very brilliant, and he just tells them, like, no need to be angry. Her time will come, and yours will too. It's all right. So I think that makes Gregory feel okay. Like, okay, I can go on. Next episode is Ava versus superintendent. So I spoke earlier about how the superintendent said, you're on notice, sis, your job is on the line. So now she has to give this big presentation in front of the board, the school board, for more money. They need some cash to fund all these music and art programs, of course, right? Because those are the most underfunded in public schools. So she has this PowerPoint and it's awful. Well, not a PowerPoint. At the time, she just had her face on cell phones in a room. And Janine and Gregory's like, let us help you. So they help her with this PowerPoint and she gets there. In the meantime, Barbara's like, you know what? I've been applying for this 10K grant, but I always get denied. So Melissa gives her an idea of like, do you know who's on the board? She's like, yes, this lady from our church. She's like, you know anything about her? She's like, I mean, yeah. She's like, so use that against her. And so she tells Melissa, like, I don't play in the mud. I leave that to people like you. Ouch, shots fired. Melissa was like, now why am I in this? Word to Nene. I'm just sitting here saying, I'm trying to help you. And you gonna call me out? But she ends up taking Melissa's advice, right? Because she needs that 10 grand. Because they all know Ava is not good at her job. So this presentation, no matter how much Janine tries to help her, it's not gonna go well. And they're not gonna get the funds. So Barbara's like, all right, I can do this. So Barbara in her red suit greets the woman in the bathroom. And at first she's like warming up to it. And then she ends up hitting her like, so, I know you're on the board at the financial trustee board or something like that at the church. And she blackmails her, like, because obviously something's not going right at the church funds, right? So she's like, yeah. So she's like, just know I know. And it's like, oh man, that's crazy. So anyway, Ava's big presentation, it goes pretty well, right? She's got her little charts up there, but at the end, the superintendent hates her so much. He's like, you ain't getting no money from me. If you didn't try to blackmail me this whole time, I would have given you the money, but because you didn't, now I'm gonna make the students suffer. That's not fair, that's nasty, but it is what it is. So they're all sad, but then the lady comes to Barbara, woman of God, and say, you got your grant. And she's like, oh, thank you. And I will see you at church on Sunday and every Sunday. And Melissa was like, so you did what I said? She was like, yeah, I did. Like sometimes, I'm not saying play in the mud, because that's not, that's not what it is. But sometimes you got to use some things to get what you want, because a lot of people are not going to get you what you need. So you got to use a little bit of dirt just to get, and it's for the kids. Who wouldn't get in the mud for the kids, right? So now they got 10 grand, all is well. The last episode is the finale, y'all. And it's a zoo field trip. It is not sanctioned because Ava is Ava, right? She still has her job, unfortunately, but I'm glad she's funny. But it's unsanctioned. So everybody is there as chaperones. Gregory is now dating Barbara's daughter. Interesting, right? Tariq is there, which is Janine's boyfriend, that he is not good enough for her, but he's there and he's being Tariq, of course, talking about when I move, you move, just like that, right? Whenever he makes sure all the kids are together, he's just ridiculous. But they're there and they're going on this trip. So they get to the zoo and Barbara finds out that her favorite animal there is no longer. They've shipped him off to another zoo. He's kind of retired. So she starts to question her teaching career. She's been teaching over 20 something years. And she's like, is it my time to go? And of course we're like, no, Barbara, woman of God, you cannot retire. We need you. What would Janine do without you? So she's mulling over that the whole episode. Meanwhile, Tariq tells Janine on the bus that he now has a gig because he has not been working. Sir has been unemployed for a while now, right? So he's finally got a gig because he performed the whole the no drugs song at the school. So now he has a whole contract to perform at schools, but it's in New York. And Janine has to decide if she is going to move to New York or stay in Philly. Philly is home, right? Nobody wants to go leave home, and she's finally settled into the school. She's made friends. She's gotten to know her kids, and Tariq is just not up to par anyway. So she's mulling over that. During this time, there's a kid that's lost, and he ends up getting on a hot balloon ride, of course. And Janine is deathly afraid of heights. So am I, sis. I'm right there with you. I wouldn't have got the kid, but that's why I'm not a teacher either. But anyway, she gets on there, and he's like, "Are you scared, Miss T?" "Are you scared, Miss T?" And she's like, "Yeah, yeah, yeah." He's like, "No, just look over. Just look over." So she ends up looking over and sitting down. And they have just a real heart to heart about how he was scared to go to the second grade and how she's scared to move. So they bonded. Oh, it's crazy how kids can kind of teach you something. Even though she's the teacher, he taught her something about how not to be afraid. So after that, she meets up with Tariq, and she tells him, like, "I think we should break up. Like, you go to New York, do your thing, and that's it." He's like, "Can I still smash?" And she like, "No." And then they do their little dance, and we all cheered. We were all on Twitter like, "Yes, she broke up with him." So now her and Gregor can be together. She just got to steal him away from Barbara's daughter, because that ain't gonna work. We know it ain't. And good news, Gregory is now full-time. I'm so happy. He got promoted from a sub to full-time, and Ava loves him. Like, he's like, she tries to say a little sexual remark, and he's like, "Yeah, I know HR." And she's like, "What's HR?" Girl, you make 2 steps forward and you get knocked back 3, sis. Like, Ava, why don't you know what HR is? You're the principal. But anyway, congratulations on a wonderful season. Barbara, woman of God, has decided to not retire, and she better not ever. That'll be a good ending of a finale, like, of the series, if it ever ends. I don't want it to ever end, but if it ever does end, I think that's a good way to go out if Barbara retires and they all have a retirement party for Barbara. But congrats to all of you. Wonderful season. Shout out to Quinta, the whole cast and crew. I can't wait to see what you'll do in season 2. Janine is going to be a more experienced teacher. Barbara's never going to retire. Ava hopefully gets better at her job. Gregory and Janine hopefully get together. Melissa and Jacob will continue to be great teachers. So bravo to everyone. Congratulations on getting renewed. You deserve it. And I can't wait for season 2. Please like, subscribe, and share. And if you love this season, drop down in the comments. Let me know what's your favorite episode. What was your least favorite episode? What do you want to see more of in season 2? Do you think Tariq will be back? When do you think Gregory and Janine will get together? I think by 3rd episode of season 2, but that's just me. But they always say don't date who you work with too. So that could get messy. I'm loving it. Yeah. Shout out to y'all. Once again, thank you so much for watching. You could be watching anything, but you chose to watch me. Forever grateful. Till next time. Bye.